YouTube, chat, podcast world, Twitch, Barack and Michelle Obama, if you're listening. This is going to be a gripe of an episode of the show, the podcast. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, the podcast. We're getting a little spicy today. I entered today in a good mood. Didn't sleep great last night. That's neither here nor there. But then I recorded this Friday's video, and it didn't go great, and so I am now upset. And so I went into today thinking I would record a cool video about, Cody Bellinger's fantastic, Jacob deGrom is here, content is doing okay. And then I looked at the schedule, the calendar, for the upcoming week of MLB The Show 23, and I don't know why this made me as upset and angry and ornery as it did, but it sure darn did. So hello everybody, welcome back to the show, the podcast. Again, thank you for being here. We're going to talk about all stuffs today. I'll reveal it in a second, of course. You've already read the title. You know what we're talking about. I'm not stupid. But thank you guys for being here. YouTube audience, we're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe before you go. Like the video, of course. Comment down below your thoughts on what we're about to talk about after or during our conversation. Spotify and Apple crowd. I recently checked the analytics for the first time in, 6 months. You guys are effing killing it. Thank you for being you. I appreciate you guys. Just want to let you know that from time to time. What I do cannot be possible without all of your support. So let's talk about the nonsense that's bothering me. We're looking at the calendar. New content arrives at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern. We know this, you idiot. So today, Tuesday, the day you're listening to this, we're getting a new Battle Royale program. That does not upset me. One of the rewards is 99 Dust in May. That is scary to think about. What bothers me is what's coming on Friday, right? Monday, Tuesday, Friday. August 18th. Another fucking moonshot event. It comes with a program. Neat, I suppose. 99 overall Kyle Schwarber's one of the rewards. We already have one of him in set 2. He'll be gone in presumably 2 weeks. So now we'll have another one. That's not the problem either. The problem here is that events, which used to be my favorite mode, I don't even have a favorite mode of this game anymore, I just loathe it all equally. Events have become very, very stale, very uncreative, and very lazy. And frankly, I think SDS is missing an enormous opportunity. Let me start off by saying one thing good about current events. I don't mean the world. I mean the events in their current structure. SDS's decision to add a 12-win reward to events this year, in my opinion, is one of the biggest wins of the year. So it's ironic that we can have such a big win in a mode and then such shit everywhere else in the mode. I love that the 12-win reward rewards the grinders with some stubs. But also, if you're unable to get 12 wins in a run, just wait until the next event. Grind the next event, and you can get that card for free from a rewind pack. I appreciate the way SDS looked at both sides of the player base here and said, we have a solution. Largely, those cards have also been pretty fun. Not really God Squad material, but also kinda close. They've been fringy God Squad cards, and that's all we ask for a mode like like events. The newest one, Michael Young, is actually pretty damn good. Max contact, decent enough power. Some people very much enjoy his swing. 2 years ago, I loved his swing. Last year, I just struggled a little bit with him. Major win, 12 win rewards, exclamation point, or check mark. I just did both of them at the same time. Now let's talk about the shit of the events. I have a notepad here, so I'm going to read off some of it because I was in a mood rather. I can't even speak. I'm so upset. And I don't want to forget anything. So as I said, they're lazy. They're repetitive. Events used to be, I guess technically still are, but used to be more so and should be the offline player's entry point to online play if he or she chooses to play online. There are some people, maybe you listen to this podcast, maybe you don't, and if you do, this is totally fine. There are some people who are overwhelmed and petrified of playing online. I joke that I'm petrified of playing ranked every time I queue in. Ranked is a different beast. BR, events, doesn't matter. Some people are just afraid to play online. They prefer to play offline, no stress involved there. And that's fine. Listen, this is not me critiquing anybody who thinks that way. You guys know that I welcome any and all players to my podcast. The way events is currently structured is just a God Squad pissing match just about every single event. The restrictions have not been restrictive. It essentially is just the current set and the previous set God Squads every single game, sometimes stadium locked, sometimes Hall of Fame, very rarely. It's become so cheesy. Let's go play at Polo Grounds. I understand that was extreme to them. Extreme would have been just making it a Hall of Fame or even a Legend event and letting you pick whatever stadium you wanted. I think a Legend's a little too extreme. I'm just offering suggestions here. Putting it at Polo Grounds made it less extreme, more cheesy. That was one of the worst events I've ever played. Because I outperformed, and I'm not exclusive here, there are a lot of you listening as well who will agree. We outperformed our shitty opponents to such a degree that we lost because we kept hitting the ball perfectly timed to center field, left center, or right center. Meanwhile, our opponents are drag bunting their way to victories. There's hardly any variety in these events lately in terms of player card usage. Let's start getting creative, boys and girls. We've got binders full of hundreds, maybe even thousands of cards available to us. Let's have a live series only event. Let's have a golds only event. Let's say you can't use a single card higher than a 90, let alone a team cap. A single card, 90's the highest. Let's stop with the moonshot events and do something different. They think moonshot event's everyone's favorite event. It was the first time they rolled it out years ago. I'm pretty sure since then, moonshot events are just pull your hair out PXP grind slugfests that you can do with your eyes closed. Events should be your space where you don't need to have God Squad cards to play it. Because players who are primarily offline players, they might not have every card in the game. And that's okay. But the second you put them into an event, they get tallywhacked, titty fucked, diddly smacked by people who are using their God Squads in events. And listen, I use my God Squad in events. It's within the parameters of the current structure. I'm not blaming you if you also use your God Squad. All I'm asking for is some variety. I talked about this on Monday, in my Mailbag Monday, 10-minute mailbag. I always call it Mailbag Monday. That's not the title. It's 10-minute mailbag. If you're not a YouTube subscriber, subscribe to YouTube. You can go find that. We have a lot of fun there. Basically, the premise of that video, it's pretty self-explanatory, is I have 10 minutes to answer your YouTube comments, and we talk. We have conversations that are extending beyond just me typing back to you on YouTube, because I do try to do that as much as possible, but sometimes some questions require depth, and that's hard to do via typing. So Scott/Scotty/Scotland, friend of the channel, asked about how we can maybe toy with events, because he's sick and tired, and I agree, of, let's say the event max team is 93. Your team cannot be higher than a 93 overall. Sorry, guys on YouTube, I keep adjusting my headphones, by the way. For some reason, they're very uncomfortable for me today. Let's say your max team can be a 93 overall. There's no cap, by the way, in the current event. What they do is, you can see it right here. On the left-hand side under rules. Minimum player overall, 60. Max team overall, 99. Whatever, 99 is whatever. It's not a big deal for this current explanation. When we're getting into a stage, an event, when max team is not 99, and it's 95. Having the minimum player overall, be 60 just means you replace your entire bench with 60s, you replace one rotation member with a 60, you replace 3 members of your bullpen with 60s, and now you can put your God Squad under that threshold of 93, 94, 95, whatever it is. That's not 100% accurate. It's pretty close. There's some other tinkering that needs to go. You might need to have a gold in like DH spot or something. Like, it's not perfect, but you understand what I'm getting at here. You can manipulate the system to just put all your 60s everywhere and throw your 99 demons everywhere else. What if, just a thought here, pretty good one, I think. What if we made the minimum player overall for every single event, unless it's Moonshot with commons, but God forbid we forget about Moonshot. What if we made the minimum player overall for every single event 75? You had to use a silver as your minimum card. Now we're talking about some creativity in team building, some diversity in team building, some actual decisions that have to be made. Don't get me wrong, I think PXP is one of the best things, and parallel levels, by the way. I think PXP and parallel levels are one of the best things this game has added in the last half-decade. Sincerely. I love it. I think it's smart. I think it capitalizes on the current baseball card collecting market where there's different parallel type of cards you can get. Love it. But that, I think, has encouraged SDS to just make events a parallel grinding mode for your God Squad. And I get why that's valuable, but ultimately I think that's hurt the variety in events, and I think that's hurt the playing field. The playing field is level for people who play every day, for people who are just getting into the game, picking up the game in August, who, like I said, just play offline, don't play a lot online. Events is a hellhole. Level the playing field. Let's get people using cards they would never, ever use. Battle Royale and events should be the two places we have lineup variety everywhere. Events, right now, respectfully to the kind folks who work at SDS, because you guys have done a lot of good this year, truthfully. Events have been sucking. And this is coming from someone who maxes out just about every event. Used to max the shit out of every event immediately because I loved events. I remember back in MLB 20, and was it gone in 21? It was definitely in 20, where the event reward, which we'll talk about in a minute, the event reward was like the last thing you earned, and if you grinded your way there within a day, you could sell it for 1,000,000 stubs. I remember grinding for 99 Goose Gossage way back in the day and immediately selling it for 1,000,000 stubs. That's the type of events player I used to be. Kind of still am, but definitely used to be. For context, in this current event, I'm 40-9. 2250. Am I top 100 still? I was top 100 the other day. I don't think I'm top 100 anymore. No, am I top 150 even? No, there's a lot of people who've caught up. 2250, I am rated 168 in the event. Almost 169. Damn it. I was as high as like 38 at one point. I play events a lot. I like events normally. They've been so crappy this year. And then let's talk about the bigger slap in the face. Oh, I hate that noise. Hold on, Another thing I hate about events. This stupid noise. Make it go away. There you go. For the podcast audience, you didn't hear that. For the YouTube people, I'm sorry. You guys have the audacity to ask us to grind an event for 95 overall bag of shit Jim Tomei and 97 overall almost as big a bag of shit Eddie Matthews. I get this game is all centered around collections now, and that's another conversation for another time. I think live series collection is cool. I think set or program collections are kind of stupid at this point with how many cards you guys are just putting out. But that doesn't mean we should just constantly be getting cannon fodder bullshit cards. Right? That's kind of what most of this game has become. Remember the days... This sounds like old man yelling at cloud, and I'm sorry. I am old, I'm not yelling at clouds. But I'm just, I was feeling real spicy today, and I had to get this off my chest, because I've been thinking about it for a while. And Scott's comment on 10-Minute Mailbag just lit the fire again. Remember the last program, or last event, excuse me, of, I believe it was MLB The Show 21. Or one of the last events, regardless, a late in the game cycle. We got two of the best cards in the goddamn game in that event. We got finest Trey Turner and I believe finest Vlad Guerrero Jr. from the same event, or right about the same time. I know Trey Turner was definitely an event reward. Vlad might have been a pack. You guys can correct me down below. But we'll stick with Trey Turner for now. 99 Trey Turner was an event reward. That card was the best card in the game, and not a single soul can argue with me otherwise. Yeah, it was late in the game cycle. I get it. But we've since devolved to 95 effing Jim Thome. We still don't have a 99 Jim Thome. And who's excited for this? I don't think Kevin's even excited for this, because he has his 99 that he so loves. Yeah, it's made up a little bit by the fact that we have these cool 12-win cards. Again, I love that. Tip of the cap to the people who came up with the 12-win, the real 12-win reward for events. I love it, truly, and I hope it never goes away. I hope we have this till the end of time. But God, something's got to change here. We either need a new person overseeing creation of events, we need more of a collaboration, we need more creativity, we need to encourage pushing the envelope with weird stuff. Things that suck about events, potentially. Hall of Fame, no one likes that. Legend, no one will like that. Moonshot, stop putting it at Capital Langy, or whatever the fuck it's called. Stop stadium locking us in Miami and Los Angeles. Leave it open stadium. Give us cool, different types of requirements that make us think and use our binder. You guys want us to collect all these cards, we never, ever, ever use them. Also, think about this. Who'da thunk it? We complain. I'm complaining right now about 95 Jim Thome. I am, openly. If within certain event restrictions, I had no choice but to use this Jim Thome at first base, and he carries me to a 12-win run, I might stop shitting on your 95 overall Jim Thome. There's a part of me that might love it and be like, you know what? I understand why we're getting 94s, 95s, 96, 97s that suck on paper. Because we have to use them during the restrictive events mode that was supposed to be restrictive in the first place. I think I'm dropping bars right now. I think I'm spitting facts. There's heat coming out of my mouth, my ears, my head, because now I have a headache, and probably my ass because I had Taco Bell today. I think SDS backs itself into a corner too often by just doing things that are illogical. You give us all this shit to just put in a binder and never stare at. How about you make us use it? BR theoretically is that place, but there's so much randomness in the drafts that, I don't know, 75% of these cards never even appear in drafts. Events should be the place to toy with all these stupid little cards. Events has fallen off a cliff. Careened. Will I still play them? Yes. Because I have to, because it's what there is to do in the game. It's a good stub making method for me. It's why I consistently have a decent stub bankroll, because I recognize that I am good enough at this game to at least get a 12-win run on events. That's not the same for everybody. Some people hate playing events because all they play against is God Squad after God Squad after God Squad. Let's make one mode in this game, one online mode in this game accessible to human beings. Ranked Seasons is a sweat fest every day of the week. Normal human beings who come home from work don't want to play Ranked Seasons, and if they do, they don't have fun most of the time. Same goes for BR. That is the most competitive, most RNG, most bullshit mode ever created. I hope it doesn't go away because I do think it has a place. I think it needs tweaking in whatever manner they can think of creatively, but BR is not going anywhere. BR is not accessible to the masses. Programs helped it just a smidge, not enough. Events should be the mode, the everyman, the everywoman, the every person mode. For people who don't have the God Squads, who don't want to use the God Squads, who are just learning how to play online. Right now, events simply is lazy. It's broken. Not broken. Broken in its fundamental ideologies. Broken in the thought process. Not broken as an actual working gameplay mode that works like every other mode. I just think it's time we get a little more pizzazz here. That's all I ask for. SDS and MLB The Show has done a lot of good things this year. The gameplay, largely, is much, much, much better. It has its moments, but so does every online game. The content, sets and seasons, I know is polarizing. It's just the first year of it. I think SDS has learned from the content structure. I think SDS has immense potential with sets and seasons if they learn from the lulls of this year, which they will. I think 99's day one and the volume of 99's we've gotten have been great. Give people chances to use beefy versions of their favorite players and swings. I've said that from day one. Always use the swings you like. Now you have more options on those because some of them are 99's. So many leaps and strides and bounds have been made this year that are incredibly positive, and that we should actually take the time to say, hey, SDS, good job. Because I feel like we always just shit upon them, as I'm unfortunately doing in this episode. But I'm just trying to be fair here. I try to be the voice of the people. I elected myself voice of the people. It's a little bit of a dictatorship. But, you know, it's my show. I do what I want. I just think if we're going to start critiquing stuff, it's time to get to the nitty-gritty of the modes that work and the modes that don't, or the modes that need a tweak. Events needs tweaking. Ranked needs a tweak. That's a separate episode for a separate time. Ranked has need tweaks forever. But Events is an accessible, easy-to-fix mode by not changing anything structurally. Nothing structurally. The mode can stay the same. All we have to do is get a little more picky-choosy in what we allow to use and what we want kind of pushed to the side for a couple weeks. And I think that's a fair thing. I think that is easily attainable. I think a lot of people would be intrigued to play the mode. I think a lot of people would have fun. I think live series cards would get used. I think it's a win-win. So, everybody, I need to go have an Advil and drink some water, because my head really hurts. I feel like I was going 100 miles an hour for this entire episode. And I might have been. And you might think I'm yelling, which I have been. So I'm sorry if I've hurt your eardrums. But as you guys know, and have known, longtime listeners, I am passionate about this game. This game has made me friends. It's given me a little side hustle with my content here. And I've played it literally my entire life. And I just want it to be the best it can be. We keep getting closer, and then we take steps back. And then we get closer, then let's just keep taking steps forward. And I think a very minor, but very welcomed change could be made to Events. So thank you guys for listening through this rapid fucking mindfuck of an episode, because I was just screaming the whole time. But thank you all for making it to the end. I love you guys. Make sure you are subscribing if you're on YouTube, because we're reaching 2K very soon, and you could be part of that journey. Like I said up front, you guys on Apple and Spotify have been crushing it beyond anything I even anticipated, because, again, I don't check the analytics over there. I'm going to make this podcast whether people listen or not, so I'm thankful that you guys do. But if you are new on either of those platforms, hit that follow or subscribe or whatever button it's called to get new episodes every Tuesday. So thank you guys for listening. I love you all so much. Let me know what you think about Events, and I'll talk to you next time.